Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today for our collective reading, our daily collective reading. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get started and see where will we be guided today. Let's see. What messages do we need to hear most today? 9 of Wands coming out to start our reading. So we're approaching some conclusions. We saw in yesterday's reading, the Fool started our reading. So today I'm wondering if you're feeling maybe the energy of past patterns sort of making you need more rest, maybe some self-care, past habits, patterns, things that we do on a day-to-day. As we transform and expand, our daily habits transform and expand along with us. But sometimes creating that space can feel, there we go, we got the Three of Swords and the Death card flipping over here. So sometimes when we create that space to shift, things in the day-to-day are a little bit funny, aren't they? We're not sure what to do with ourselves. We're not sure how to occupy our time. And that can sort of be a moment where we need to just focus on the self, focus on trusting what the self needs. What does your body need? What does your mind want to focus on? Where's your attention? Seeing the Three of Swords makes me feel like there's still cords to cut. There are still things that need to be closed. These are necessary endings, necessary separations. And I feel like seeing the Nine of Wands with these cards makes me feel like today is a day to focus on how, now that I've sort of feeling different on the inside, how do I sort of manage my day in a new way? Right? And that can be a struggle. I think that can be a big struggle for a lot of people, myself included, as you shift internally. How do you shift your activities, your focus, your behaviors, your words, right? And I think we're seeing the Three of Swords because we're focused today in this reading on eliminating things that don't serve us in this new world, this new day, right? And sort of focusing on caring for the self and trusting that whatever you feel intuitively that you may need today, to listen to that intuitive recognition. Let's see, what's top of mind? What's top of mind? I feel like there are still some cords that need cutting when it comes to thoughts and relationships. There's the High Priestess and there's the Eight of Pentacles. So again, sort of bringing in that energy coming through the crown chakra, coming through your divine connection, and finding a way to sort of find new purpose in your daily activities. Seeing the Eight of Pentacles and the High Priestess coming out in reverse makes me feel like that is causing challenge, which is completely understandable, completely normal, in the sense that once you've sort of had a transformation on the inner level, then the outer you has to catch up with that, right? And that can really involve our communication. It can really involve our actions. It can involve how we care for ourselves. I like that we're seeing these cards coming out to sort of remind us that as we shift internally, our day is going to look different, right? With respect to what we do in our day, the way you organize your time, your efforts, and your words, and who you spend time with. It's interesting to see all of this come out. Ooh, okay, there's our cup. I was waiting for a cup to show up. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. So again, very transformative, very new beginning. It's a page, so it's very new. It's like, could even be coming out just from yesterday or from the full moon energy yesterday. You may have felt a deep transformative shift on the inside that you still haven't really understood how to get your bearings. We're seeing the Nine of Pentacles as well in reverse. So we've got two nines here, the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. And so that really makes me feel like your inner transformation is starting to sort of change how you structure your outer experience in the day with respect to life in the material world, your emotional sense of self, how you care for yourself, and how you know, that Three of Swords, I just keep looking at it and I think to myself, there's the Hermit on the bottom of the deck, by the way, but this idea of how much of other people's energy are you internalizing, right? With that Three of Swords, are you letting other people's words pierce your heart? Are you allowing things that need to be separated from to just let it go? You know, it's an interesting idea. Are we internalizing things and sort of allowing them to affect us emotionally, mentally, or are we sort of present in ourselves and trusting that and not trusting the words or actions of others? This is interesting. This sort of makes me feel like there are still cords that need to be cut and still an awareness that's required of sort of surrendering to the process of your internal guidance. And if something's got to go, it's just got to go. And that doesn't mean you've judged it as being good or bad. It's just you're trusting yourself. You're trusting that inner guidance. Like I'm sort of being brought to this idea that when we're driving our car and we're relying on the GPS, we don't really question it, do we? It says turn right, turn right. If it says turn left, turn left. And we trust it. We don't question, what is it going to mean if I turn right? What does it mean if I turn left? And then we end up sitting on the side of the road really, really questioning things. We trust it. And so just as we do with this external navigation system that we allow to direct us around town, the internal navigation system, your High Priestess here who's coming out in reverse, are we trusting it? Are we trusting it? Or are we busy questioning it? Are we busy judging it? Instead of just using our discernment and our intuitive recognition of what feels like it's for us and what doesn't. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's all food for thought, right? It's all for you to consider. What actions are you taking for self-care? And what actions are you taking towards this transformed you? These are things to consider, right? This might even actually involve things that are like, you know, you may not have considered would shift. You might be experiencing shifts in your diet. You might be finding like you just don't want to eat certain things anymore, or you want to eat more of other things. And that could be your body communicating to you what it needs in terms of nutrients, minerals, vitamins, you know. And as such, also this idea in the Nine of Wands of like, if you need to rest, are you resting, or are you judging the need to rest and saying, I'm lazy, I'm being sort of, no amount of energy today, and sort of judging yourself for that instead of just trusting you need to rest and that's okay. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. It's very interesting. This reading is sort of pointing me towards the idea of getting to know yourself and trusting that the body knows. You know, the body knows what it needs, and so does your spirit. Your spirit knows where it's guiding you, and to trust it. Very interesting reading today. Let's get our other two cards here to ground this reading. The Chariot in reverse. Ooh, and then these two cards wanted to come out. Seven of Swords in reverse and the Three of Pentacles. So this is interesting. I really feel like we're seeing the Chariot in reverse because, again, you've just undergone this recent transformation. It might even be as new as the full moon, right? You might be really feeling like, you know, you made space and that you've released a lot of things, and you've shifted your intention to be more in alignment with yourself. But I feel like seeing the Chariot in reverse makes me wonder if there isn't more aligning required. Sort of along the train of thought I was just talking about, that your body knows when it needs what it needs, right? In terms of food, in terms of rest. Your day-to-day patterns may have changed. May, like just using an example, you may have spent your time of downtime or relaxing time, let's say, in front of the TV. But maybe you're finding now that that's not comfortable anymore. That sitting in front of the TV at the end of the night isn't how you want to spend the hours before you go to bed. Maybe you want to try something new, but you're not sure what it is. So bringing stillness to the mind will certainly help that. And I feel like trusting yourself is the message we're getting by seeing that Seven of Swords in reverse. In the sense of you don't have to doubt yourself. You don't have to judge yourself. You can trust yourself in that, when you bring stillness to your thoughts, what becomes available to you is sort of guidance, right? Like when we bring our mind into stillness, we can sort of be in the presence of the divine without judging it and without limiting it, just going with it. It's very interesting. Like perhaps you have felt like you want to try something new, and you're giving yourself a million reasons why not to do it. Now, I can't afford it. I don't have the time. I don't know how to do that. It seems like a risk. Who knows, right? We can always come up with limits. Our ego is really good at coming up with reasons not to do things, not to try things, not to trust ourselves, to doubt ourselves. And so it really feels like today's reading is sort of moving you in the direction of saying, I trust myself. I trust my intuitive recognition of actions, words, activities, experiences, relationships. I trust myself to know when something is for me today or when it's not for me today. And I'm not going to judge myself for that. I'm just going to go with it and trust myself and use discernment and consciously be mindful of my intention as I proceed. Right? If my intention is to really care for myself and I feel like I need to rest, then that's a very loving and kind thing to offer the self, that rest, It's a very interesting reading, lots to consider today. Okay, my friends, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. And I'm sending you so much love and light as you are transforming and getting to know yourself in a new way. Hope to see you again soon.